Why would you buy a new EV? For about as long as I can remember even wanting a car, I've basically wanted an EV. So that's why about a year ago, I went and got an EV. I decided to go used. I don't really want to be spending too much money on my car, so I bought a used EV. Ever since I can really remember wanting a car, I've basically always wanted an EV. So when I moved to this apartment here and I actually have access to a level 2 charger every single day where I park, I thought it was time to finally get one. So after a couple of months of looking, trying to decide if I even really wanted to spend the money to get an EV, because I did have a working car. This was just because I wanted it. You know, I have always been interested in EVs and thought they would be fun to have. And if I can get a used one for half the price of a new one, why not? I mean, really, when you kind of think about it, I was pretty nervous to get a used EV, and a lot of people are. One, I think, is because of the battery. You could be taking a risk with the previous owner, I guess, and how they treated the battery. I know that batteries are supposedly pretty resilient right now, but it's still a concern. But I guess when you really think about it, I don't see what else would be really a problem with buying a used EV. When I think of what you would worry about buying a used gas car is, did the owner get the oil changes and get the engine air filter replaced on time? All these things that I imagine if you don't do can seriously harm your engine and a lot of the other parts of your car potentially if you're not taking it in for its regular maintenance. Whereas even with an EV, if you don't take it in for maintenance, there's really not a whole lot for them to do. And the ones that it does need that are pretty major, you will know more than likely whether or not it was done or not. You're not going to be like in the dark of, did it get enough oil changes? Because maybe some people just don't have the documentation and they do it themselves. You know, like you could never know. So even still, I was still looking at manufacturer certified used cars, and I ended up finding this Hyundai Ioniq 5. It was 2023, and it's the limited trim, all-wheel drive, basically all the bells and whistles. And I thought I would talk about it. I've driven it about 15,000 miles now, and I feel like I've gotten a pretty good understanding of what the car can do and how good it is and things I like and dislike. And I know you maybe have seen other reviews, maybe not, but there's some nuances there that people really don't mention a whole lot. So I wanted to start this with the things that I actually like about the car, because it's a pretty good car. One, it's an EV. So all the benefits of it being an EV, it's fast, quiet, comfortable. I don't have to get gas ever. Basically free charging here. I just had to pay a little bit more for a spot in my parking garage with a plug for a level 2 charger. So I pay $40 a month, I think, and the power is free though. So it's not metered. Unlimited driving for $40 a month. Pretty good deal. No oil changes. Even though they're easy, they're annoying to do. So not having to do that, it's pretty great. And it's just a fun car. It's the top trim, so it has everything. And I didn't pay top price for it. Some of the things I don't hear a lot of people mentioning, or even if I do hear them mention it, they say they don't like it, is I really like having the Regen paddles. So one thing that I don't think I see much talk online about is passengers and EVs. I get car sick pretty easily. I don't really ride in a car with someone else driving all that often. But when I've taken an Uber with a Tesla driver and they have their one pedal driving on, it's pretty obvious to me. And I have had other people go in my car and basically say the same thing, where with the Regen braking, instead of like in a gas car where you're accelerating, you're taking your foot off the gas, coasting for a little bit while your foot moves from the gas pedal to the brake, and then you're braking. So the transition from accelerating to braking is a lot longer time period than when your foot is just on the pedal and then removing your foot goes into Regen basically, like instantly. That changeover time is fast, and it's just a little bit unsettling for your passenger. They jerk forward and back a little bit more than they're used to, and it could potentially be more often than you're used to if you aren't really careful with your foot on the pedal. as the driver. So when I have a passenger, it's nice to just be able to hit the paddles a couple times and then all of a sudden it's off and then boom, done. And I guess I haven't driven any other EV with having to switch it back and forth. So I don't know how every EV does it, but if it's in the screen and you have to turn on one pedal, whatever, I can imagine that'd be pretty annoying. So I really like that about this car, and I feel like it's a pretty big selling point for me. It'll be hard to drive a different car without that. I can only imagine. Because sometimes I do like, even myself, to switch the levels of the regen braking. I just like driving different ways sometimes. Sometimes I want to use the brake. I'm weird. I don't know. And then another thing, let's see, what else do I like about this car? Oh, the heads-up display. I love having a heads-up display. The heads-up display in this car isn't even that good because some of the information, when it shows it, at least for me, it's blurry and I could not fix it. They're adjusting the brightness, cleaning the windshield, cleaning the glass in front of the projector itself. I couldn't really find a way to get some of the elements that show up to be clear enough to my eye to where it wouldn't give me a headache because it was just out of focus. So the only thing that I keep on there is the speedometer. And even just that, I don't think I could go to a car without it right now because it's just nice to have. And if you don't like it, I feel like you just turn it off and then no one's the wiser. But having that information right in front of you is just nice as a driver. That's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't want to get a Tesla. I like having easy access to everything to be seen. It's just, I don't see why you wouldn't want that. It's nice. I feel like the more information, the better. And then I also don't understand why a car wouldn't have it, especially at a premium price point. So this car retails for, it was $56,500 when I checked. So after all the taxes and fees and dealer markups, you're looking at $60,000 for this car. So yeah, I'm glad that it has a heads-up display in it. But then there are some cars that are $60, $70, $80, $100,000 that don't have a heads-up display. Why couldn't they just add that? I think they're just saving a buck because it clearly doesn't take up too much space if other cars can have it. I don't imagine that there's a whole bunch of critical stuff right in front of the driver there that all these other car manufacturers couldn't just add one, especially for their premium ones. So getting that is really nice. And really, it's just everything that's nice about having the top trim of the car. So it has the panoramic sunroof, and kind of surprisingly, it's one of the only cars with an automatic shade that goes over and covers your sunroof. I know that the more expensive EVs might have the electrochromatic auto on for the dimming, but it's nice to have an actual shade that actually blocks out 100% of the sun that's coming in, especially when you're driving through the desert. It's too hot and you don't want the sun on you. It's just nice to have. And again, why can't more expensive cars include that? If this car could, that's kind of my point, is this car could have all this stuff and it can have the cover. Why can't a Rivian have that? Why can't they do the electrochromatic roof and have the cover? And then the rear seats, they have the shade that goes over the window. Do I use it that much? No, but I can only imagine if you have kids or people that sit in the back a lot, it's pretty nice to have. And again, more expensive cars don't have this. So me spending $35,000 on this car, getting all these features, really nice. It has the premium Bose sound system. It has the ambient lighting. It has the better looking wheels. It just has everything. So to stop myself from rambling a little too much here, the things that I like about it really are just that it has everything. It's obviously, it doesn't have every feature in the world, right? So out of all the people that have bought an Ioniq 5, I have the one with everything in it. So that's what's nice about buying a used car at almost half the price. So yeah, I would recommend people get this car if there weren't all the things that I don't like about the car. Now, some of this might be a little unfair and it might not matter to some of you, but the way that I see things, they feel almost inexcusable. And it really, as someone who drives the car, even though I didn't buy it new, so Hyundai doesn't care, right? I guess I bought it used from a Hyundai dealer, but I don't think Hyundai Motor Group really cares a whole lot if you buy it used versus new. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't see where that would lie in their priorities. They want to sell new cars. Either way, I'm gonna treat this like I bought a brand new car because I can imagine how I would feel owning this car still if I were to have paid almost $30,000 more for it. So that's kind of my mindset, is how would I feel if I paid full price for this brand new? I would be pissed. I would probably hate this car. I would probably tell nobody to get it. I'd probably never recommend it to anybody. And that might be a little harsh, but I think to me, the software issues is just too much for me. I can't get over the fact that my car still doesn't have battery preconditioning, just being able to turn it on with the push of a button. I shouldn't have to use your terrible navigation system just to precondition my car when I want to go on a road trip during the winter. Now, maybe there's some major reason that Hyundai couldn't push out an update and you would have to bring your car in order to get this feature. But to me, it doesn't even matter exactly why. I think it's more a symptom of a problem with the way their structure works when designing their products. I just know that they don't really care about you as much as a customer after you've bought your car, because they think the other aspects of the car will make you buy it again. But I think in our modern age, right, the way that cars are and the way that everything is, especially that is a computer, which cars, I guess, are computers on wheels now, because they kind of are. We just know that it's a good model for consumers. We get to have our devices and stuff now get better as they age. Now, every once in a while they get worse and there is issues with that, but you're not forced to buy new things all the time to get a lot of the software benefits. Like, say your iPhone. Sure, they have exclusive features and new ones, but it's like one new thing, maybe. But basically everything else my phone can do, because it gets updated. If it's possible to do that, why wouldn't you? So I think it's just a pretty bad philosophy from the company to be so bad at updating their car for the users that bought it, because you're just going to lose a lot of customers, because every once in a while you're going to get the ones that actually care about these things, and they're going to talk to people on the internet about it and how much they hate it. So yeah, I'm a little upset about that. Anyways, what else don't I like about this car? Well, I don't like the lingering issue of the ICCU. I mean, I haven't had a problem with it, but it doesn't stop the fear in the back of my mind that at any moment there's this part that is just failing in a couple percent of the cars. But it's impacting enough people with this ICCU issue that you just feel like you're driving with a ticking time bomb in the back of your car. And even not having dealt with it yet, seeing the way that it's been handled and how long it takes people to get their cars fixed with this, even when it's such a known issue. It's been a known issue for well over a year now, probably 2 years now. They know, they might not know what's causing the problem and why it's happening, but they know it's a problem. So even if they couldn't fix exactly what's causing the problem, they should at least make sure that they have enough of them and be prepared enough to be basically like tire swapping these, you know. They should have a system down by now. They've had multiple years now to recognize when it's an ICCU failure and have the new ICCU ready and be able to replace it. A lot of the horror stories about the ICCU isn't that it like ruined the car or anything. It's just that they wouldn't know at the dealership what the problem is. It would take them a while to figure it out, even if they already knew and they're just lying. But then it would take weeks or months just to get a new one, when it's apparently not that difficult of a replacement, at least in terms of things that are bricking your car to where you cannot drive them at all. So again, that's another symptom of the way that Hyundai Motor Group as a business doesn't care after you've bought the car at all. And then there are the minor things, but things that are just good to know before you buy the car. My car doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so I have to have a cord running from the front to the center console so I could have my phone there. Who thought that was a good idea? Why isn't the USB that's in the center console be the one that controls Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? That's one little gripe, but Again, would I have been happy paying $60,000 for this car and not having wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Probably not. At least the new ones do have it, so can't really blame them for that now for a current new car. But if you are looking at a used one, just know it's annoying. Like, come on, like, why can't I use the USB in the center console? Who's gonna want a cord going down on the floor? Anyways, and then there's the range. The battery on this is 77 kilowatt hours. I think the EPA on this thing was like 260, I think. And it's enough. It definitely is enough. But if I were to get a new car and pay $60,000, again, I can see why 300 miles EPA should be a good floor for an EV that you at least intend on road tripping, because I do. And I guess if I had two cars, but I don't, I could see how getting a very small battery pack EV would be completely fine. But as someone who's only going to get one car, it's nice to be able to do a road trip. And this car, the road trip is not the worst, but I do daydream about how much nicer it would be just to have a little bit more range. I don't need the crazy 400 or 500 miles of range. I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't need it that bad. But it would still be nice to have. And I don't even mind taking a break every once in a while. I like standing up and giving my legs a break. It's just a more pleasurable road trip for me if I take my time. I don't like, the day just doesn't feel good if you're just driving. And when you break up the day a little bit by getting out, walking around, checking out the town you're in, it makes just the whole day better when you still get your road trip done just maybe an hour or two later. Even being that way, I still would like more range. It would just be nice to have a little extra buffer to go a little bit longer. If you don't want to sit at the charger for too long and you do want to make good time, I do feel like even with the pretty good charging, I mean, it's not perfect when you can't precondition your battery, at least easily, because it stops me from preconditioning my battery because I don't want to use the terrible map and navigation and software just to get preconditioning going. So I guess I'll wait an extra 5-10 minutes when I road trip during the winter. But like during the summer, it charges well enough to keep you going, but a little bit bigger battery would have been nice. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. Maybe a little sporadic and kind of all over the place, but I think in general, buying a used EV has been a fantastic experience. I'm almost excited to buy my next used EV because I do feel like buying this for $35,000 a little over a year ago, when buying a brand new one would have either been paying almost double the price or getting literally the lowest trim level that has a smaller battery pack and none of the niceties. It's been a great experience owning this car, and I don't regret it at all. And I just think of, when I'm done with this car, what EV that's coming out today could I be buying in a couple of years for half the price? Like, it's almost exciting to get a 50% discount on something that now, to me, I don't even feel like I'm driving a used car. It's my car at this point. There's no real signs other than a little paint nick that tells me that it's used. I even checked after I bought it. I even checked here on Car Scanner. I don't know how trustworthy this is, but it says the state of health here is 100%. And it does show how many times the car has been DC fast charged. It says it's been done 80 times. I think I've maybe fast charged it 20 times. So about maybe a little over 30 charges a year that it was getting before, which is about once every other week. But I'm pretty sure this car was a rental car before, and it didn't seem to have any major wear and tear or abuse done to it. I think maybe people assume people are rougher on rental cars nowadays. I don't know. I don't drive many rental cars, but I can't tell that many people probably rented this car and abused it. So this experience has been pretty good. I don't know if it came across well especially with the end there being pretty negative. But yeah, I don't see why everyone wouldn't be buying a used EV, at least if you're in the market at the price range, because I think a lot of people that might be looking at, cheaper new cars or used cars. And maybe you could stretch your dollar a little bit more to get some of these good features that you really want. And I can see how the price ladder goes up pretty quick. You're going out there looking, I'm gonna spend $45,000 on a car, and you so quickly talk yourself up to $60,000. And when the payment isn't that much larger, you can convince yourself that it's a good idea because you want all the nice things. But I promise you that if you just bought a used car that's even nicer than the one that you were thinking of getting before, once it's depreciated, especially these EVs that are having heavy discounts when you buy them used, I don't see why anybody's buying a brand new one out there unless you are just swimming in cash. So I'm happy with what I did, but I just wanted you guys to know it's not perfect and I wouldn't recommend it to everyone or anyone. Now, this isn't to say I have a recommendation for you, because maybe the grass isn't greener. So I don't know anything about all these other cars because I don't drive them and I haven't owned them. I haven't had them for 15,000 miles. This is just my car. So I feel like I can speak on the things that I've dealt with this car. But I don't want to ramble on too long with this. So let me know what you think. I'm kind of curious. Are you looking at getting a used EV? If so, which one? Are you looking for one in the future? Right now, I'm thinking used R2. The new BMW iX3, because I can only imagine if that depreciated by half in the next 4 or 5 years, what buying that used would feel like. That car seems awesome. So I'm excited for the future. I don't know what I want to get next, but I'm not going to stick in this car forever. So if you know anything about any other used EVs, let me know. I'm done.